What is up, guys? Today I'm just gonna be showing you kind of like the process of some of the 3D work I've been kind of like teaching myself to do recently. I've been spamming it in social media and stuff, so I figured why not kind of tell you what it is. So as you saw, I'm just doing like a barrel, super easy, something that's like really simple to do, but I figured at least I'd have a go at making it look like really good, right? You know, something simple. So this is a program called ZBrush, and basically what I've done is I've created a cylinder. I know it's going to be really hard to see. I wanted to make the video quite short because it's just a barrel, but it should give you a brief idea anyway. So I gave myself a cylinder, and then I stretched it out, gave it kind of like the geometry that I wanted, and then I just kind of squeezed the top and the bottom in, allowing it to give it that kind of like barrel-esque shape to it. And now what I'm doing is I'm just giving it like the main kind of like shape. So we've got the bars on the barrel, which, you know, would be like where the metal rings go, and then we have the top and the bottom. And that's pretty much it. Like, that's super simple. That's going to be like the base mesh. That's what we're going to project all the big information onto, because when it goes into a game, it needs to be very low detailed, and then you fake the detail with textures. So now I'm going in and I'm making what you call the high poly, which is basically like it's got much more detail, and that's what we use to then project onto the lower one. You'll see what I mean later. And yeah, so I'm just going in and kind of like trying to fake well, I'm not faking here, but I'm putting in like the slats between the wooden bar, like what would be the wooden slats and things. So making little gaps and just kind of like making it a bit obvious that, hey, it is actually a barrel made of wooden planks. You don't really need to do a right lot. It's a freaking barrel, right? So there's not a whole lot to it. I'm just kind of like going around, and you can see at the top there, I've kind of pushed it into the point where you kind of see individual planks, to try and really sell that idea that they are individual, even though they're not. They're just kind of, it's one big amalgamation. Here you can see that I was putting different colors on the barrel. They're what you call poly groups or something. I can't remember. Yeah, poly groups. And what that does is it kind of makes it a bit easier to UV lay, which is basically you take the 3D model and you lay it out flat. You'll see what it does in a minute. If you look at the box in the bottom right, you'll see that it's all coming out flat. And now that I'm done with that ish, though I'm having a bit of trouble with it. I realized that I did a couple of things a little bit wrong, but it's nothing that's not fixable. And here my friend told me to go and play around with the game that we're making. It's like super early. We just got a little guy running around. But yeah, so you take the barrel and you cut it up. You put in seams, and basically you allow it to lay it out flat. Imagine when you're at school and they gave you the foldable paper that you would make a cube out of. You're effectively doing the exact same thing, right? You cut all the shapes out, and you lay it out flat, and then you can paint on top of it, which is what gives it a texture. So the little blue box in the left, but you want all these to be the similar color usually, but the blue box is actually the inside of the barrel. So I didn't care about that, made it really small because we don't need much room for it. And now you can see that I did all that cutting out, and you can see it on the right hand side. It's all flat, and now I can go in and I can use it's effectively like Photoshop for 3D objects, and I can go in and I can start laying down textures, and yeah, just start making it look good. This takes quite a while. I end up doing quite a lot of iterations on it. It's really nice actually, because it is so much like Photoshop, and I have so much experience in Photoshop that this is just kind of like second nature to me. It's really quite cool. I did the red originally because I just wanted to kind of show it off and be like, oh, what do the colors look like and stuff. And then we're going to go in now and start layering in actual wood grain, putting different woods on top of each other. I'm messing around with maybe like a look of it maybe being kind of weathered, like a really old barrel. Another thing is here, you can see how like the grain doesn't match up, so I go in and I make the grains all match and stuff like that, and it's just a lot of like layering and putting masks in, anyone that's used Photoshop, you'll kind of get it. You'll see the layers on the bottom right, and it will look very, very much like Photoshop to you, which is pretty cool. Yeah, so we're going in, just kind of messing around. And the whole process it's not very easy. There's a lot of stuff that if you get it wrong, you basically have to start from scratch. So I've done a couple of things now. I'll put a link in the description to my ArtStation account where you can kind of look at some of the stuff, and also there'll be a link on Facebook and whatnot for looking at this in 3D. You can actually, I've got like a Marmoset viewer thing, which is basically like a website kind of like built-in 3D viewer. It's pretty cool. So you can actually go and have a look at it and view it and push it around and have a look at it from all angles and with different lighting and stuff. It's pretty cool. Here I'm just kind of trying to break up the colors. I'm kind of liking where it's going. I've got the darker areas looking good, like the areas between the slats or between the planks of wood. I darkened them up to make them kind of like have a bit more depth. I looked online and I saw that a lot of people have like a maker's mark on barrels and things, and I was like, okay, this is kind of cool. I can maybe come up with a little something. I was being super quick about it. I didn't really think about it too much. I just wanted something to break up the color and add a little like variety to it. So I found a cool font. I found a Wingdings shield type thing, and I just made an alpha out of it. I did it backwards because I'm really good. So an alpha is when you put like something on a mask, black means that it's not being showed and white means that it is showed. So I did it the wrong way around the first time, and now I'm just going in and dirtying it up a bit because it's like a really old barrel. It's not going to be like a perfectly stamped logo on it still. So I'm going in, adding some masking over the top and just kind of making it look all roughed up. And then I go in a bit more and I take a bit more out and whatnot. So now I'm exporting textures because I'm pretty happy with it. And then I have a problem with the rendering output. It ended up that I just had to invert one of the textures. It was a bit of a weird thing. I haven't used it very much, so there's a little bit of faffing around coming up. But this is going so quick. I don't really think you'll notice. Yeah. So I mess around with baked lighting. So everything you've seen so far has a number of textures. You'll have one for the roughness, which is like how the light reacts with it. One for the color. One for like details and things like that. And you can do what they call baked, which is where it's just one color. The one color texture fakes all of it, and it's really good for things like mobile. So the only downside to it is if you have lighting where light won't interact with it, but generally you don't care about that when you know you're on mobile or something, because you're just going to see it from a distance, or it's going to be really small or low detail, especially with something like a barrel. Like it really doesn't matter. So something like that is a way to have better performance on lower powered machines. So you see I'm still just going in and messing around with it, just making sure the lighting looks right, making sure that the wood isn't too shiny, because you don't want shiny wood, that's weird, but you want the metal to obviously be shiny and all that sort of thing. And again, all that is just done by different layers, exactly the same as Photoshop. You just have more options to pick from. So this is Marmoset Viewer. It's basically like you can set up scenes and you can use it to render nice output. So you can even render complete artwork in it. If you made like a whole environmental scene with like a castle and people and all sorts of stuff, you can animate them and you can do all sorts of stuff with it. It's really, really cool. But I'm just using it quite simply here, and you can see that I'm now having a look and outputting it to my ArtStation, which again I will have a link to later. Feel free to like follow and like and stuff on there. I do have I do really want to grow my my account on there, and grow as a 3D artist as well. So yeah, any help is always appreciated. This is me just tweaking with the animation you saw right at the front where I spin the barrel around. So I've never used this before. It took me about 10 minutes to figure out. It's nice and easy. and then I just rendered an output at like, I think it was like 2K or maybe 4K video, I can't remember. Oh, and this is quite a cool thing. If you go into the Marmoset like viewer, the 3D viewer that I'll be linking, you can, well, I'll put a quick picture here as well. You can see it with like all the different like textures and all the different like wireframe and everything, so it's pretty cool. So yeah, thanks very much guys. Turns out I ended up talking longer than the video, so that's always good. And yeah, I'll see you later. Thank you very much for watching.